While I was working for an outside sales organization, I got the entrepreneurial itch. Like, I want to run my own business because I was working for a company that when I started, they gave me a car, a laptop, and a phone and a credit card. All right. Go build and maintain your market. Are you kidding me?
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Lomitech, and sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and Birthright Excel, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. I have with us today Carson Tate. Carson serves as a consultant and executive coach to executives at Fortune 500 companies, including but not limited to AbbVie, Deloitte, FedEx, Johnson & Johnson, Kraft Heinz, Synchrony, and Wells Fargo. She's the author of Work Simply, Embracing the Power of Your Personal Productivity Style, Penguin Portfolio 2015, and Own It, Love It, Make It Work, How to Make Any Job Your Dream Job, McGraw-Hill 2020. Reviews have been including in top-tier business media, including Bloomberg Businessweek, Business Insider, CBS Money Watch, Fast Company, Forbes, Harvard Business Review blog, The New York Times, USA Today, Working Mother, and more. Carson is also the creator of the Productivity Style Assessment, a professional tool featured in Harvard Business Review's 2017 Guide to Being More Productive. Carson Tate, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you?
I'm doing well, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to chat with you. And I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate it. But, you know, the world that we're living in is completely crazy. And I don't know really how to make sense of it, but hopefully in the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be able to do it properly. Tell me a little bit about your own journey, specifically thinking about, employer engagement, the workforce, the world that we're living in now, and working simply and not in a complicated way.
Mm-hmm. So employee engagement is probably on everyone's mind because what you're seeing and what I'm seeing, people are quitting left and right. They're quitting their jobs because it's not fulfilling. They don't enjoy it. And maybe they're overwhelmed, overstretched. COVID has been challenging for most folks. A lot of folks have had existential crises, wondering, is this all there is to work in life? And so when you think about engagement, it's personal. There's no one size fits all. It's about what you need to be engaged and fulfilled, and you're accountable for making it happen.
Right.
You're not going to outsource your engagement. This is about ownership.
And so what does that actually mean? What does that mean, ownership?
Mm-hmm. So it means two things. One, it means recognizing that you do actually have power in the relationship with your employer. So I think about it as a social contract. So just like you have friends where there's give and take, there's the same thing in the relationship with your employer. So you bring skills, they need to drive revenue, which means you've got power in this relationship. And it's recognizing that for your business to be successful, they need you, and you also need them in terms of compensation. The second piece is that clarity. What do you need to be engaged? How do you want to be recognized and rewarded? How do you want to grow in your career? What are your strengths? How do you define meaning and purpose in work?
Is this a new concept, this idea that we have power within our relationship with our employer, that we provide value, that we are an important part of the success of the organization we're in?
I wouldn't say it's new. I don't think it's been fully embraced. So now more than any period of time in history, it is an employee's market. It is your opportunity to co-create with your employer what you want and need. I think so often we have felt beholden to our employers. We have to do everything in order to keep our jobs. That's not the situation now. We need you to be engaged if I'm your employer because productivity goes up, but also there's a talent shortage. I need you. I need highly talented folks, and I want to retain them.
Right. And so what does this relationship actually look like today? And from your perspective, and I'd love to hear a little bit about your background as well, and how you ventured into this world of thinking, so that, I can look for myself and for my friends and colleagues, how do we navigate this more complicated situation now in the workforce?
Mm-hmm. So I'll start with background and then I'll give you a framework. So
Please.
I hated my job. I had a job. It was terrible. I was in sales and outside sales, making cold sales calls. I had a miserable boss and I was tired of just waking up every day dreading going to work. And I thought it was all my boss's problem and my company's problem. And I had a conversation with my college cross-country coach who helped me reframe and realize that the only person you can change is yourself. So if the situation you're in isn't working, you're not going to change your micromanaging asshole boss. You're not going to change the work. You can change your relationship to it. So that was my first experience of how do you take ownership for what you need? I wanted to learn and grow. So I found someone who was great at sales in the organization, shadowed and let him mentor me. Then I wanted to figure out meaning and purpose and did some work around what's the purpose of this work. So that was my first experience of, maybe there's more to this. Maybe it's not only my employer's job. Then as I started working with our clients at Working Simply and realizing that the traditional engagement method, so you're going to pay me more, we're going to have a ping pong table, all these great benefits and bonuses and nap rooms. That's a piece of it. We all want it, but that's not enough to engage me.
No.
So that's where I realized it's 5 essentials for professional fulfillment. So recognition and reward, using your strengths, having really strong relationships, having a career plan where you can develop and grow in your career, and discerning the meaning and purpose in your work. Those are the 5 fundamentals that are required for all of us to connect and find our work more fulfilling and engaging.
So all of those sound amazing. How do we actually go about doing them? Because we're so occupied with the day-to-day, stress, whether it's at home, whether it's at work. There is uncertainty in the world, especially during this time. And you're mentioning it is an employee's market, but how do we go about even trying to figure out a lot of those deep questions ourselves?
Mm-hmm. So it's going to take some reflection. And it's also going to take, hopefully, someone who can help you with that process. So to figure out how you want to be recognized, and this is truly about being recognized, a thank you for performance and acknowledgement of hard work. Think about your best day at work. What was your best day at work ever? What did you do? So tell me about your best day at work.
My best day at work was probably my first day at my internship at 17.
Okay. What made it the best day?
I came into what I discovered to be an office where there were 3 people sitting there. I was given the laptop and I had to work, and I didn't have homework. I wasn't in school. I got to create stuff myself, which was a crazy responsibility.
Oh, so it was about creating something yourself. So that was what led you. Okay. Did anybody tell you anything during the day that what you created was good or needed work or improvement?
I didn't get much feedback, but the autonomy that I had and the fact that I didn't constantly need to check in with somebody, that felt very empowering. So
you have two really good examples of things that you want. You need some autonomy and the opportunity to create. So knowing that, how in your current job can we look for more opportunities for you to create and find more autonomy? And so to do that, we've got to connect those two to the goals and objectives of the company. So let's say one of your goals and objectives in your current company is to increase sales. How does you being more creative in a product or in solving problems faster allow us to achieve that goal faster or exceed it? That's how you want to create that, but you have to have that conversation with your manager. But when you connect it to the goal, that strategic goal, what's in it for them, you're now co-creating a situation where you thrive and they thrive.
That makes a lot of sense. And obviously that requires also that your manager and the chain of the chain of leadership are also cognizant of those KPIs of the organization as a whole and of the team as a whole, right? Because in today's world with organizations that have a very big range of responsibilities, it can get pretty confusing.
I would expect for your manager to know their goals and objectives and KPIs. Yeah, that's the basic requirement of a leader.
Okay, perfect. So we're actually going into this conversation with the assumption that that we're working in a place where the people that are above us in the chain of leadership, they understand the goal, and perhaps if they're not, then maybe we're in the wrong place.
Yes. So clarity of goals and objectives to drive performance for me are like, that's a basic. Yes. And so we're going to work off the assumption your manager knows what their goals and objectives are to achieve the strategic priorities of the company. And you know what they are. And to do more of the work that you enjoy, you're connecting what you do well, what you want more of, to those goals and how it helps the company achieve those goals.
Right. So with the insights that you've had and with the different case studies that you know, what is your day-to-day like? What do you actually do?
What do I actually do?
Yeah.
Yes. So there is always an element of some type of creation or writing. So writing something for a publication. I was creating a new training program for hybrid leadership this morning for a client. I just got off of a coaching call with another client, and this afternoon I have another coaching call and a couple of sales calls. So it's a variety throughout the day, which I love. So one thing that keeps me excited is a different type of work day where there's different things to do and challenging different parts of my brain.
Okay. And so what if somebody has trouble discovering those elements, like the questions that you asked me? What if it's a problem because it's not always clear what we actually want and what we're actually motivated by, especially if somebody feels they're stumped at work and they're not sure if it's because of their manager, if it's because of themselves, or if it's because of the actual job that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So I have a couple of different checklists and assessments in my book, Own It, Love It, Make It Work, because exactly this point, Michael, this can be really, really hard to do. So there are a series of questions where you answer yes and no, a series of questions where you rank. Yes, I have this, I want more of it, to help you discern. The other place I typically tell folks to go is if they have any type of feedback from their current job, a previous job, helping you denote strengths, areas for growth, the impact that you've had is always a great place to check.
Right. And so once we go through this process, I'm imagining that this is also an iterative process. It's not one that we do now, it's going to end next week, and then we're good for the next 2 years, right? It's something that we keep having to check up within ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're growing and developing and changing along the way. So it is an iterative process, but I would suggest that you start at one place. So if you don't feel seen and valued, then let's focus on that recognition. If you don't believe that you have the relationships that you need to advance in your career, or just that sense of community at work, let's focus on building relationships. So it's one incremental piece at a time to create that job that's fulfilling and engaging for you.
That makes a lot of sense. Tell me a little bit about your own upbringing and how you even got to think about this world of the workforce, employer engagement, and how we can be better.
Yes. So I started my career in human resources. So in corporate human resources, which is about developing people and really helping people be their best selves, which I really enjoyed. And then I went into outside sales, and that's where I realized there was the intersection between engagement with your work and performance. And the sales folks who were the highest performing were the ones that really enjoyed their work the most. And they're pretty effective and efficient, had great technical skills, but the work had value and meaning for them. And so while I was working for an outside sales organization, I got the entrepreneurial itch. Like, I want to run my own business, because I was working for a company that when I started, they gave me a car, a laptop, and a phone, and a credit card. All right. Go build and maintain your market. I was like, are you kidding me? It must have been like your first day. I think it was very similar. Like, I have all this autonomy and you just want me to go. I am all in on this. It was fantastic. And that really was the opening to be an entrepreneur. So I started coaching and helping colleagues be more effective in their job, and started working simply over 10 years ago.
I love it. And if you had to choose a few words for yourself, or if I would ask anybody that you're coaching or working with, how would they describe Carson?
Thoughtful, focused, and kind.
Thoughtful, focused, and kind. Well, Carson, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the insights. I'm going to take a lot of this for myself And I'm going to be sharing this with a lot of my friends that I think need to hear this as well. So thank you very, very much for the insights, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thanks. Thank you, Michael.